chapter 3, beginning at the 14th verse. Multitudes, multitudes. One translation says thousands and thousands are in the valley of decision. For the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day, that means the season is about to happen. The season is about to come. The season is about to be accomplished. There is a breaking that's coming in your season. Ooh, when I read that today and this morning, and I just kind of broke all that down. For the day of the Lord, not just the Savior, not just the Christ, but the Lord, the one who reigns and the one who rules, the one who is at large and in charge, the one who has the final say-so. I said the one who has the final say-so over everything. Over everything, every sickness, every disease, every virus, every situation that has you walking the floors. The Lord, the day, the season of the Lord is coming. However, we got to go back and deal with that thousands and thousands that are in the valley of decision. So many people today feel what they call decision fatigue, because we have had to make so many decisions over the last 18 months. Decisions that we never thought we would ever have to make. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Anybody just tired a little bit of having to make all these decisions? Sometimes I just get tired of making decisions. However, it is important. So today I want to talk from the subject, daring to be decisive. Daring to be decisive. If you're at home, I'm talking to you. If you're in this building, I'm talking to you. Look at somebody and tell them, I dare you to be decisive. Lord Jesus, I thank you for this word. I thank you for the power to deliver this word. I pray that you would use me today as the shepherd in this house to feed this flock of God. I pray that they will have ears to hear, hearts to receive, and minds so that they can think their way through clearly the decisions that they must make. Have your way today, Jesus. Move until I recognize it's you. Move until they recognize it's you. Because without you, we can do absolutely nothing. But with you, all things are possible if we can just dare to believe. Have your way in here today, God, and we will give you the glory in Jesus' name. Somebody shout amen. Amen. On your way down, don't touch anybody, but just look at them and tell them, I dare you to be decisive. Dare you to be decisive. Thank you again for coming on a Labor Day. You know, Labor Day is one of my favorite summer holidays. You know why? Because it's almost over. Summer is almost over. I'm one of those crazy people who dread to see summer come and love to see when it's gone. Anybody like that with me? I bet y'all are from Chicago or Detroit or something. Because there ain't no summer like a Texas summer, because a Texas summer don't stop. And so when I was a kid, I used to love Labor Day because in Detroit, we always went back to school the day after Labor Day. And the weather always changed. For some reason, it always changed on that weekend. And it was cool, and we could put sweatshirts on. And we really couldn't do much. But I did remember sitting in the house and watching the Jerry Lewis telethon. Anybody in here remember that telethon? Yeah, some of y'all old like me. Thank the Lord. But he used to have a telethon and raise all kinds of money for muscular dystrophy. And then I don't know, it was cool. I had on a sweatshirt. Summer was behind me. Get thee behind me, Satan. And so I like it. I like Labor Day because it's one of the last summer holidays. But anyway, I realize today that those of you that are here, whether you're on the property or whether you're just tuning in online, it doesn't matter. You have chosen to spend your time with us today. That's a big thing, because time is very precious. Time is really the currency of earth. I said time is the currency of earth, just like money is the currency in the financial kingdom. Time is the currency of earth. And everything that you and I possess, unless somebody else gave it to us, we have traded our time to be able to possess it. So when you go to work and you give them 20 or 30 or 40 hours of your life, what you have actually done is you have you've given them those hours, but you've also sold them a part of your life. And so when you get a paycheck, you need to look at your paycheck as much more than dollars and cents. It's got to be more than dollars and cents, because when you start looking at your paycheck as something that's called time, it helps you not to be so quick to squander your paycheck and to waste your paycheck, because when you are wasting your money, you are really wasting your time. Because when you're wasting time, you're really wasting your life. Time is a gift, and time is something that is very, very precious. Not only is time a gift, and not only is time precious, but your strength is precious too. And sometimes we don't know that until we see somebody laying in a hospital bed who has no strength. And it causes us to become aware of the brevity of life, and it causes us to understand just how important strength is. Just strength to pick up a brush and brush your hair. Somebody would love the ability to do that today. So strength is very, very important. And here's another thing that's important. You have to really manage your strength like you manage your money and like you manage your time, because you don't want to run out of strength before you run out of time. I said you don't want to run out of your strength before you run out of time. And so that's why we got to make sure that if we're going to fight, or if we're going into a battle, or if we're going into a war, or if we're going into the enemy's camp, if we're going in to do any of those things, we have to make sure that this fight matters. And we have to make sure that there's some spoils within this fight that has your specific name on it. Just because somebody else is in a fight doesn't mean you should just go in and start fighting it with them. If there are no spoils for you, then you don't need to be out there wasting your strength. Because why should we fight a fight if there's nothing in it for us? Okay, let me say it like this and maybe you'll get it. Why should we press toward the mark of the high calling if there is no prize at the end? That is important. We have to understand that there is a prize. So the reason we press is because there is a prize. Hebrews says this: looking unto Jesus, the author and the finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, and he despised the shame. So he endured the cross and he despised the shame because he knew that there was some joy that was set before him. He knew that this was going to qualify him to sit down on the right hand of the Father. So it is important that we understand that there is something in the fight for us. David told us that as well. When he walked onto the battlefield and he saw his brothers, he just simply was going to take them lunch. And when he saw that they were in a fight, and when he saw that the enemy was winning the fight against them, and here they are, the army of the Lord, David was confused. He said, this ain't happening. What's going on here? And it really was happening, because the men of Israel, they were frustrated, they were fatigued, they were fearful, and some of them even fled because of this giant whose name was Goliath. But David did not flee, he did not run. What David stood there and said was, he said, can I ask you a question? David said, what is the bounty on this man's head? In other words, what is the reward that is attached to him? If I bring him down, what do I get out of it? What is in it for me? See, he was a kid at the time, but he had enough sense to know that if there were no spoils, or if there was nothing he was going to come out with, then there was no sense in him going into the fight. Every once in a while, we need to stop, we need to pause, and we need to ask ourselves the question, what is this this about? Is this worth the stress? Is this worth the pressure that all of this is putting on me? Is it worth, is the money that I'm making, is the purpose in what I'm doing, is it worth the paycheck that I am getting? Is the hustle worth the hassle? Is the hustle worth the headache? Because I'm gonna tell you something, the same God that's meeting your need right now can meet your need somewhere else. I said that very same God, but sometimes we get stuck and we don't realize that our help comes from the Lord. We think it comes from a person, we think it comes from a paycheck, but no, actually it comes from the Lord, and He can do it here, He can do it there, He can do it over here if you'll just step out and believe Him. So we've only been given so much substance, and like the prodigal son, we've got to be careful that we don't waste our substance, our strength, our time on riotous living, which means excessive living. So it means that we need to pick our battles, and we need to pick them well. Who was it? One of the songwriters, singers said, you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. Some people don't know when to fold them. All you do know is how to hold them and when to hold them, but you don't know about letting go. But there comes a point in your life that sometimes you have to stop investing in people, and you have to know, I invested, but now I'm not investing anymore. I got to cease from investing. Why? Because I don't see a return on what I am investing in. And make it clear, people will drain the strength out of you. They will drain the life out of you. They will drain time out of you. They will drain passion out of you. And then once you are empty, they will kick you to the curb, and they will find somebody else who is hot. Make no mistake about it. So don't waste your time or your strength or your energy or your passion, because passion is very priceless. And to be quite honest, I don't have the energy to waste it on unstable people and in unstable relationships, doing unstable things. No, I don't have time for that. People that I don't have time for running behind and resuscitating every person in my life. If I'm always resuscitating you, then who in the world is going to resuscitate me? I can't do it. Look at somebody and say it's a two-way street. So that's why I can't allow you and your inconsistent, irrational, shaky, shifty, vacillating moodiness, personality to control my life. I don't have time. I got too much to do. I've got too much destiny ahead of me. I got to save my strength for my purpose. I don't have time leaking my purpose out, trying to save you. I need to live my life based on pursuing the purpose of God for my life. And if you are part of that, come on, we're going to run together. But if you are not, then I got to cut you free and let you go. Because I got to be accountable for my purpose. Look at somebody and say, you're accountable for your purpose. And let me tell you, passion is what propels your purpose. I'm going to say that again. Passion is what will propel your purpose. And if you're not careful, you will start leaking passion. When you start leaking your passion, ultimately you end up leaking your purpose. Because when you leak passion over here and over there and over there and over there and on this person and on that person, and then when it comes time for you to need your passion for yourself, guess who won't have any passion? You won't have it, and you don't even have any fruit to point to, because it was never the purpose of God for you to leak your passion here, there, and everywhere to begin with. And that's where some of us have got it wrong. That's why some of us are where we are right now, because we've ran after every little thing that we felt like that we had to fix, or we felt like we had to explain, or we felt like we had to make everybody understand why we did what we did, how we did, and all of those things, because you don't want to hurt anybody, you don't want to disappoint anybody, you don't want to upset anybody, and you don't want to be misunderstood by anybody. And so you Your fear is, I got to do this because I'm going to disappoint somebody. So what ends up happening is now, because you have given all your courage to her or all your courage to him, now you've blown all your strength into everybody else, and now you are laying here hefted and ain't got nobody to pour strength back into you, because here you are now because of the way you've chosen to do it, or the way that we have chosen to do it, and now we find ourselves exhausted. We find ourselves battling depression. We find ourselves lifeless and passionless and strengthless. And so when the window of opportunity does open up in our life, we can't really seize it because we've let all of those little foxes spoil our vine. How many of y'all will admit, I've had a few little foxes and they've spoiled my vine? The rest of y'all liars, you need to come to the altar and get saved right now. Listen, let me tell you today, if you're going to run your own race, and if you're going to reach your own destiny, and if you're going to embrace your own promises, if you're going to take your own territory, and if you're going to seize your own opportunities, then you are going to have to make decisions to prioritize your life, okay? And that's okay. Somebody say, that's okay. Close your eyes and say, that's okay. Give yourself permission to do that. You need to do that because Jesus said himself, he said, my meat, that means my fuel, is to do the will of him that sent me. What fuels me, Jesus was saying, is that what fuels me is to do the will, the purpose, the desire of the one that sent me. That is what keeps me going. And that is why I only do that I hear my Father say do. That's why he could walk among those people who were sitting around the porches, who were crippled and lame and all of those things, and he could step over this one and step over that one and leave that one but touch that one right there. Why? Because he said, I only do that which I hear my Father say do. Would it have been great if every one of them would have got touched? It absolutely would have, but I don't have the answers for that. He said, I can only do what God has given me to do. And you know what? We can't be a God pleaser and a people pleaser at the same time. Absolutely, you can't. Now that doesn't mean, oh, that's it, I quit serving today because I'm choosing people over God. I quit my job because my boss he won't let me do this. No, don't quit your job, okay? Because then you're going to be calling the church and say, hey, I need help because I quit my job because Pastor Brady said not to try to please people. That is not what I mean, okay? It's just funny how people will take what you say and turn it into all kinds of stuff. But here's what I want you to know. I just want you to know that the enemy's strategy is to keep you busy, going absolutely nowhere and doing absolutely nothing. And because of that, we have to decide in 2021 to incorporate, write this scripture down, 1 Corinthians 9 and 26 into our lives. 1 Corinthians 9 and 26 has got to be incorporated in our life. And it simply says this: I do not run aimlessly, and I do not fight like a man that is beating the air. In other words, I don't just throw punches for no reason. It takes strength to throw a punch. So I don't throw a punch for no reason. And I don't run just to be running. I run with purpose in every step. That's when I run. And the way that we do that is by finally understanding what our purpose is and refusing to be ignorant in our purpose. Look at somebody and tell them, don't be ignorant. See, that is why we got to find purpose, and that is why we got to fight to stay in the purpose of God for our life. One of the greatest tragedies, I think, today is that many people have survived the pandemic and they're still here on earth, but they do not know why. And they keep praising like they did pre-pandemic, and they keep worshiping like they did pre-pandemic, and they keep planning like they did pre-pandemic. We are in a new season. It is a new day. Your praise has got to be different, because you could have been dead, and the Bible said that the dead praise not the Lord. I said you could have been dead, but now that you are alive, you should never come in here or anywhere and expect somebody to sing something or say something. If you do that, you have totally misunderstood what you have and who you are, because you are a priest unto God. We come in here and we look at the pulpit and we think Pastor Brady is the priest unto God, but that's not. I am my own priest unto God. That don't mean I am your priest unto God. That don't mean the singers are your priest unto God. It is your job. You are a priest. You are a chosen generation, a royal what? You're a royal priesthood. You have a voice. What did the priest do? Let me tell you what the priest did. And I'm not here today to preach on the priest, because none of this is in any of my notes, but it is in my spirit. So I've learned to get it out when it's in my spirit, okay? Here's what the priest always did. The priest is the one that helped prepare the meeting place for the people of God. I said the priest prepared the meeting place for the people of God. You are a priest. God orders your steps. So wherever you go, there is an opportunity for somebody to meet God. Are y'all following that? There's an opportunity. Rose and Anna took some flowers to one of our neighbors this week, because they had been grieving really badly over some loss that they took. And then they took them and they came home and said it was nice and it was great. And I waited until the next day and I looked at them. I said, do y'all understand that you took much more than flowers over to see somebody? The fact that you are a priest unto God, both of y'all, double priests. Both of y'all walked over onto their property. Your feet carried you over there. You are a priest under God. That meant you created a place where God could come in and meet that person and touch that person and bring healing to that person. Lord, have mercy. Everywhere you go this week, you better be reminded that you are a priest unto God. It can happen in Walmart. It can happen in Nordstrom Rack. It can happen in a hotel. It can happen on your job. Everywhere you go is an opportunity for somebody to meet God. And how many of you know our world needs to meet God? So one of the greatest tragedies is for us to be alive on this side of the pandemic, wherever we are in the pandemic. For us to be alive every day is a gift. And let me tell you something, you got to get to the point, and I got to get to the point where I understand that God has a reason that I am still here. That's why my praise can't be the same. That's why my worship, that's why my love, that's why my passion cannot be the same, because he didn't have to let me live, but he did. And let me tell you something, you can make all the plans in the world that you want to make, but I'll tell you, purpose is much more powerful than your plans. And if all you live by is your plans, you will always be unfulfilled. Purpose is more powerful than plans. How do you know that? Because the Bible said many are the plans of a man's heart, but it is the purpose of God that shall prevail. That word prevail means it's the purpose of God that will succeed. It's the purpose of God that will endure. It's the purpose of God that will win out. It's the purpose of God that will take prescience. I don't know what it is. It's the purpose of God that will gain you the victory, not the plan. I said it's not the plan, but it is not your plan, but it is his purpose. You want to win out. You want to become the victory. You want to take territory. Then you got to tap into his purpose and not just your plan. Now, I believe in plans. I do believe in plans. And I'm certainly not against having a plan. Joshua got out of Jericho because they had a plan. Moses stood there and flat-footed faced Pharaoh because he had a plan. When Elijah's brook dried up, God gave him instructions and he gave him a plan. But what I am saying to you today is that the plans in our heart have got to line up with the purpose of God for our life. Don't ask me to pray over your plan, because here's what I'm going to say. Lord, if this is your purpose, then I ask you, God, to bring it to pass. If it's not, I ask you to change what needs to be changed and bring it into alignment with your purpose. That'll save you some time. Let me just slow down and say that again. The plans in your heart got to come in alignment with the purpose of God for your life. And if they don't, we have to be smart enough and we have to be wise enough to change our plans. You hear me? We got to be, because you can pray all day, you can cry, you can fast, you can beg for God to bless your plan, but it will be to no avail, because God will not bless a plan that is not in alignment with his purpose. Tell somebody, submit your plan to God's purpose. That's not easy, because you got to lay something down and you got to say, God, if that's not what you want from me, please take the desire away. Take it out of my heart, because I'm wasting too much time thinking about this. My mind is already gone there, and I don't want to waste time that I don't have, because time is life. And spiritual people, they make a tragic mistake when they think, however, that walking by faith means that they don't have to have a plan. Okay, that's the balance to it all. Because faith is the substance of the thing you are hoping for. Okay, so in order to have effective faith, you must have something that you are hoping for. Now, in order to reach that goal of the thing that you're hoping for, you need God's plan. And faith is what's going to fuel, it's going to be the fuel that generates a working strategy that gets you to your goal. Okay, y'all don't get that, so let me say it like this, because I tell you, you're going to get this. Here's a good example. You're getting married in 3 months, okay? You found a dress, you love it, you bought it by faith, okay? Because you are about 10 pounds away from fitting into that dress. Brothers, you found a tux. You want it, you're going to get it, but you're 10 pounds away, okay? So therefore, y'all following me? The dress becomes the fuel that motivates you to develop a strategy that will help you get the 10 pounds off that is standing between you and your desired result. And every time you look at it, it motivates you. It motivates you to exercise. It motivates you to drink water. It motivates you not to eat after 6 o'clock. It motivates you to develop a plan, because you understand that your plan now is very crucial to your results. However, the reality of the matter is that faith without works is. So what are you saying, Pastor? I am saying that I don't care how much faith that you have, that you are going to fit into that dress and it's going to be beautiful, unless you have a working strategy that steps in between you and your goals, between you and your dress. If you don't have that, you can have all the I'm just going to be fine. And here it is, 2 hours before your wedding, and we're looking for a seamstress to bust it open in the back and fix it for us. And it's not that you didn't have a plan, because you did have a plan. You just failed to make the necessary decisions to execute the plan that you had. Y'all see that? You had all the intentions in the world of fitting into that dress, but you didn't turn your intentions into reality. And because of that, you missed your window of opportunity. Tell somebody, don't miss your window. And see, from time to time, God will offer us things. He'll offer us things. And if we're not careful, if we're not ready, we will miss that window of opportunity. And each window only comes with a certain amount of time. And if you have lived your lifetime being I don't know, I'm kind of an indecisive person, I procrastinate a lot, then it's very probable that you are going to miss your window of opportunity. Sometimes you need to practice on being decisive. Practice being decisive. When you're at home, practice being decisive. Practice being decisive over little things, so that when you're faced with something big, at least you have your engine is already running. And if you plan on seizing the window of opportunity that God is giving you, then you got to be able to make decisions. It's awkward sometimes. Sometimes you got to stand in between, in a place of transition. You got to stand in a place where I'm not here, I'm not there, but I'm still going to make a decision. I'm not this, I'm not that, but I still have to make decisions. And although it is an awkward thing, we still have to have our ability to make decisions, because people that don't have the ability to make decisions in transitional times usually die there. Ask Orpah. Orpah and Ruth were both following Naomi. Orpah decided, I can't really make a decision. And in not making a decision, she flat out made a decision, and she died. And that was the last time when they separated that we ever heard her name again in Scripture. Because people that don't have the ability to make decisions when you are in transition, you usually die there. They die not because they didn't have good intentions. They die because they failed to make good decisions. Okay, here's a really good tweet you could put out right here. Intentions put your life on hold, but decisions set your life in motion. Are y'all hearing that? Intentions will put your life on hold, but decisions will set your life in motion. I'm not saying that intentions are bad. I'm just saying that results are better. I said results are better. And so many people are stuck in a rut with all of these good intentions because they have stopped making decisions. So they're stuck in a rut. And they're stuck in a rut because they're failing to create a strategy to get them out of that rut. Just remember that the better your choices, the better your results. The better your choices, the better your results. So the bottom line is this: if you don't do nothing, you ain't gonna have nothing. You know why? Because God blesses action. Tell somebody, God blesses action. Not inaction. God blesses action. Jesus did not say, well thought of, thou good and faithful servant. He did not say, well intended, thou good and faithful servant. He did not say, well said there, thou good and faithful servant. No, what did he say? Well done, you've done something. Now you can enter into the joy of the Lord. And I get it. It's easy to make decisions when the answers are obvious. Okay, that's easy. That's an easy thing right there. But it can be tough when the calls you are having to make are being made in a gray area. It can also cause you to become paralyzed because you're facing challenges and you don't know which way to go. And because you don't know which way to go, somebody else has put in the application and they got the job and you didn't, because you were sitting there saying, oh Lord, is this your will? Is this your will for my life? I don't know. Never mind. It ain't, because you just missed it, okay? Somebody else got the job. So we have to resist the temptation to be paralyzed because we're not good at making decisions. What did Psalms 1 and 3 tell us? And whatsoever he, come on, that's an easy one. Whatsoever he doeth is what's going to prosper. We are waiting for God to prosper something that we are not even willing to do. It's in the doing, it's in being decisive that provokes God to say, they moved. I'm about to open the windows of heaven and I'm about to move on their behalf. So don't allow your intentions to become your enemy. Don't allow your intentions to become your enemy. Don't allow those intentions to cause you to miss your window of opportunity. If you, let's say it like this, if you get an electric bill and you fail to pay it in the window that they give you to pay it, it means absolutely nothing that you had the intentions of paying it. They're going to cut your power off. Are y'all hearing me? Verizon could care less that you were trying to get in there before 5 o'clock to pay your phone bill. If you didn't do it in the time, in the window of opportunity that they have given you, you can just say, call them and say, oh, I'll be there in 30 minutes. 30 minutes, man, we closed an hour ago, okay? Bang, your phone is going off. You had every intention in the world. You got the money, you could do it, but you messed up and missed your window. The police officer really could care less that when he pulls you over, you tell him, I intended to be going the speed limit. That's what my intentions were. See, it's not your intentions that matters. What matters is what you do and not what you were intending to do. Have y'all ever heard the saying that the road to hell is paved with good intentions? That means good intentions without decisive action is going to take your life nowhere but down. So, and guess whose fault that's going to be? You can't blame anybody else for that. Your downfall is going to be your fault because you keep giving yourself permission to fall short of your intentions. I'm preaching good in here today. So I'm not here today to get you to start writing a list of all of your intentions. I'm here to tell you today, take the knowledge that you have, take the wisdom that you have, take the insight that you have, take the understanding that you have, all of it, all of that, you already have that down inside of you. Start making decisions that will move you in the direction of your intentions, and quit blaming God for not bringing your dreams to pass and not bringing your desires to pass. Number one, he didn't tell you he'd bring it out. He'd bring your desire to pass. He will bring his plan to pass in your life. But I'm going to tell you something. There are things that we have to do. There are things that you have to do. Look at somebody and say, are you even ready for what you're praying about? I am crazy enough to believe that God is expecting some of us in 2021 to move out of the mode where we are just interested in talking about destiny and dreaming about destiny and thinking about destiny. But before this year is out, I want some people to move into that destiny moment and say, that's it, I'm doing this and I'm setting it into motion. Why? Because God gave us a word that said, if you will, I will. In the next 4 months, if you will, I will. What is it in you that God is saying, if you'll do it, I'll step out with you. You won't step out by yourself. What if I fail? How can you fail if I'm with you? I am with you. Hallelujah. Listen, you can never get a hit if you don't swing the bat. I said you will never get a hit if you don't swing the bat. You will never catch a fish if you don't throw out the line. You will never get where you're going if you don't get up and start moving toward what it is that you are going after. You can't reach a goal that you never set. Everything in our life requires action. Ask, it shall be given you. Knock, it shall be open to you. Seek, and you shall find. Oh, look at somebody and say, if you will, God will. If you will, God will. Oh, I feel faith in here today. If you will, God will. The Bible said, let me finish. The Bible said those that he did foreknow, those that he had foreknowledge of, he did also predestinate. In other words, he already set everything up for our lives on the basis of his foreknowledge of our decisions. That's what that means. He already said, he set up everything so that when I would make a decision, and I did make the decision, that he would release what he had already predetermined would happen in my life. Eyes haven't seen it. Ears haven't heard it. Neither has it entered into the hearts of man the things that God has what? Prepared, okay? Predetermined. Things that God has predestined, okay? But if we don't make some decisions, then we are the ones that forfeit that because of the fact that God said, I've done my part. It's ready. It's here. It's got your name on it. But I am waiting on you to do something about it. And it is a tragedy when God sets us up for the miraculous and indecisiveness cancels it out. Come on, y'all. I don't know who it is today that I am preaching to, but you are a decision maker. I don't know who told you that you were just a follower. You are a decision maker. And if you will begin setting those things into motion that God has put in your heart, God will release destiny, and he'll do it so fast that it will absolutely blow your mind. I went from pastoring a church in North Carolina that just had a few hundred in it, and the next Sunday I was in Dallas in the Allen Arena, and we had all kinds of people. My life changed just like that. Why? Because we made a decision as a family. We came into agreement on that decision, and it was the plan of God, and we stepped out by faith, and it has never stopped since then. God can do stuff so fast. I wonder what tomorrow holds for somebody under the sound of my voice. He will do it so fast that 1 minute you'll be talking about it, and the next minute you'll be in it. 1 minute you'll be looking at it, and the next minute you'll be living in it. 1 minute you'll be applying for it, the next minute you'll be the owner of it. 1 minute you'll be the employee, and the next minute you'll be the employer. And it will happen simply because you decided to release on earth what God had already released in heaven. He already set you up to win. He already set you up supernaturally. Look at somebody and tell them he set you up to win. The only thing standing between you and your supernatural setup is a few decisions. And if you're tired of being frustrated, make some decisions. If you're tired of being unfulfilled, make decisions. If you're tired of being in debt, make decisions to come out of debt. Choose ye. Choose ye. Tell your neighbor the choice is up to you. Choose ye win this day. Don't wait for another day. Don't wait for another message. And don't wait for another messenger. Lord, help me. If all you do is complain about your situation, guess what? You ain't ready to change. If all you do is complain and God gives you you a strategy, or he sends somebody into your life who gives you a strategy, and you say, yeah, but I can't do that because all you're doing is complaining, and you love it, and that's your last name, Sheryl Complain, and you love that. You're happy about that. You are not ready for change, because when you have had enough, oh God, y'all act like you ain't never had enough. When you have had enough, and when you have taken all that you can take, you will stop complaining about things, and you will start changing things. Sarah had taken all she could take. She did not want to hear Ishmael's mouth another day. And she looked at Abraham and said, he has mocked Isaac for the last time. Get that boy and get his mama and get them out my house. She didn't say, please get them out. I beseech you, Abraham. I'm begging you, Abraham. She said, no. Hey, ho, the boy and his mama got to go. Get out of my house, because the son of the bound shall not live with the with my son, whose name is Isaac. I know I set all this mess up, Abraham. I hooked you up with Hagar. I know I did it. I made those decisions because we were trying to help God. But the truth of the matter is, I done made the wrong decision. Look at somebody and say, you better own it. You better own it. She said, I made the wrong decision, because we've been through hell ever since we did that. Hagar has distracted us. She's broken our focus. She's got us off course. She has set us back. She almost destroyed our marriage. She almost destroyed our family. And she almost destroyed our destiny. But it's over today. Somebody say it's over. I ain't praying about it. I ain't crying about it. I'm not walking the floor over it. I'm not attending an inner healing meeting. I'm not registering for another women's conference. I'm not. It is over today. I'm not searching for a counselor. I'm not looking for a support group. I made a decision. It is over today. I am not living another day in this house with that woman and her child. Pack her bags and put her. Woo, some of y'all are putting up with stuff. I said some of y'all are putting up with stuff that God said you do not have to be putting up with it. It is time to set your life and set your house in order, because if you will, he will. I said if you will, he will, because God said, somebody needs to hear me today. He said, I'm about to send a supernatural visitation that will release supernatural courage, that will release supernatural decisions, that will release supernatural help, that will release supernatural windows of opportunity in your life. Tell somebody, don't miss your window. Life is too short, and when it is over, it is over. So quit wasting your life letting people tell you how you feel, letting people tell you what you want and what you desire and what you can be and what you cannot be. Stop telling me what I cannot be. You don't even know who I am. How can you tell me what I can be? Listen, I'm a decision maker, and I'm gonna stop forfeiting my right to make my decisions. Woo! So how, Pastor Brady, take a second and tell me, how am I forfeiting my right as a decision maker? Sit down, because I want to see the people behind you that chose not to stand up. No, it's their choice. How am I forfeiting my right Whenever you stay in a destructive relationship because you don't know your worth, you are forfeiting your right as a decision maker. Whenever you walk in the counsel of the ungodly, because it's easier to hear the ungodly than it is to set yourself apart and hear God, that's when you're forfeiting your right as a decision maker. Whenever you refuse to get honest with stuff that you know that has landed you right where you are, it ain't nobody's fault but yours. Whenever you refuse to get honest about it, let me tell you something, you're forfeiting your right as a decision maker. Whenever you decide to live as a victim, you don't know what I've been through, you don't know what I've faced. Whenever you decide to live your life as a victim, you are forfeiting your right as a child of God, because that's where the devil wants you to live. Because victims are powerless. I said victims are powerless. And the enemy knows if you're powerless, he can convince you that you are not a victor. So his whole objective is to try to make you live your life as a victim. But I came today to tell you that if you would dare believe God, and if you would dare stand on the promises that he has made to you, and if you will start making decisions like you know that you are a child of God and you have the power to execute them, he is going to give somebody under the sound of my voice another chance. He's going to give somebody a break. He's going to give somebody a way out. He's going to give somebody a way up. And the decisions that you make, they're going to release things to you that you have been praying about and petitioning God for years. For instance, Rahab. We know Rahab, she was a harlot in Scripture. We know that she was a wreck. Her life was a wreck. But Rahab the harlot decided one day, I'm going to make a decision. I'm going to make a decision that's not just going to affect me, but it's going to affect my entire household. She said when these walls, she had a house that was built upon the wall. She said when Jericho starts to fall, because it will fall, because these guys, they are God's men. And when they shout, it's going to happen. And rather than fall Jericho, she said, I ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna make a decision. I ain't going down, and guess what? Nobody in my house is going down either. My destiny is too great to die in Jericho. And when she saw the spies coming up the walkway to her house, she knew that this was not the men that normally come walking up to her house. She knew that these were men of God. And she knew that if she was going to seize a window of opportunity to change her life, that she was going to have to cooperate with these men. These men came up into her house. These men, they were there they needed a place to hide out. And she realized they think they're coming to me to hide out. But the truth of the matter is I'm going to hide out in them. So she made a decision and she said, yes, I'm going to protect you. But when the walls begin to fall, I want you to save my house. Save everybody, not just me. Save everybody that is in my house. Sometimes you need to cry out and say, God, save everybody that is in my house. Woo! I said, save everybody that is in my house. And when the city saw these men coming, they looked at it as the judgment of God that was coming. But Rahab said, this ain't no judgment of God. Rahab said, this is a window. Rahab said, this is an exit strategy for me. And they told her, when the walls begin to shake, I want you to take a red scarlet cord and I want you to hang it out your window, because that will mark your house distinctively. For when I see the blood, I will pass over you. And they said, as the walls begin to shake, that's when you hang that thing out. Well, she woke up that morning and the walls were shaking. Mama, get in the house. Daddy, get in the house. Where's my brother? Where's my sister? You all don't understand. Hurry up, hasten yourself and get up in my house, because I'm coming out. And not only am I coming out, I'm coming out today. I'm coming out of this lifestyle today. I'm coming out of this this mess today. And guess what? I'm not coming out by myself. My daddy's coming out. My mama's coming out. My brothers are coming out. My sisters are coming out. I'm breaking generational curses because there's too much greatness that is locked up inside of me. She said, I got to come out. Why? Because there is a Boaz that is inside of me, and Boaz has got to come out, because in Boaz there is an Obed, and in Obed there is a Jesse, and in Jesse there is a David, and in David there is a Solomon, and in Solomon there is a Rehoboam, and in Rehoboam there is an Abijah, and inside of Abijah is an Asa, and in Asa there is a Jehoshaphat, and in Jehoshaphat there is a Joram, and in Joram there is an Ahaz, and in Ahaz there is a Hezekiah, and in Hezekiah there is a Manasseh, and in Manasseh there is a Ammon, and in Ammon there is a Josiah, and in Josiah there is a Jeconiah. I cannot sit here and die in Jericho, because in Jeconiah is a Zerubbabel, and in Zerubbabel there is an Abihud, and in Abihud there is an Azar, and in Azar there is an Eleazar, and in Eleazar there is a Jacob, and in Jacob there is a Joseph, who ends up marrying a woman by the name of Mary, the mother to whom Jesus was born, who is called the Messiah. And it's all inside of me. It's inside of me. It's inside of me. Rahab, the harlot, the woman with a past, the woman that made multiple mistakes, the woman that slept around and laid around and played around and messed around, and yet all of that greatness is inside of me. How can this thing be? Well, sometimes it's not about you. It's about what you have inside of you. And because of what you have in you, you got to make decisions. Look at somebody and tell them, you better make them. You better make them. You and I are here today because she made a decision to be used by God. Never underestimate the power of your life's decisions. Ruth. Ruth. Rose. Has anybody got my shoes? Ooh, I need preacher shoes. I cannot wear these another day in my life. I got to move. They ugly, but they right. Woo! Don't y'all write me and tell me I didn't pronounce somebody's name right. The devil is a liar. Let me see you try to pronounce that many names. Look at somebody and tell him it's all inside of you.
It's all inside of you.
Ruth
Yeah.
understood making decisions. She understood timing too.
Come on.
So she made a clean break from her past. She separated herself from her past. She walked away from everything that had defined her life.
Yeah.
She walked away from her childhood.
Yeah.
She walked away from her memories. She walked away from her family.
Yeah.
She walked away from her friends. She walked away from her comfort zone. She walked away from her relatives.
Yeah.
She walked away from every soul tie
Yeah.
and joined herself to a mother-in-law who's really not even her mother-in-law anymore because her husband is dead. And her decision brought her to a place that she would have never been able to get to by herself. Somebody hear that? She made a decision that said, I'll never get there if I just count on me. So she hooked up with somebody. Woo! Let me tell you something. Every blessing I've ever got in my life, God, I got it because I was connected to somebody. Don't you allow the enemy to try to separate you. Because when he separates you, he isolates you. And you will not get what you are to have. Well, I ain't doing it for man. I didn't say you had to be doing it for man, but God does use men. I said God does use men. She was in a place she'd had no right being. She couldn't explain it. She didn't understand it. She didn't qualify for it. She didn't pay any dues to get there. Some of y'all don't know about that. But there is a place that God will take you, that all you can do is worship, because you realize, I've seen people pay a lot more dues and they could not get where I am. God, I thank you. To God be the glory. To God be the glory. You know what got her there? Grace got her there. And because of her decision, hear me, to be loyal, because of her decision to rock steady, because of her decision to look at her sister-in-law, say bye, because of her decision to serve the one that God had attached her to, grace yanked her out of Moab and placed her into a blessed place that she wasn't even supposed to be in. One minute she's there, the next minute she's here. Like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, she's clicked her feet together, and now she's found herself in a place that she has never been before. She's in a place of purpose. She's at a place of destiny. She's looking through a window that is filled with opportunities that she has never seen before. She has no right to be there. Whew. I said she has no right to be there. But guess what? She's there anyway. Look at somebody and say, I'm here anyway. I'm here anyway. Right or no right, I ain't moving, okay? I ain't moving. You look at me crazy, roll your eyes, act like I should not be here. I don't care. I'm already here. You don't know really what I went through to get here, but the fact that I'm here, I ain't moving. Don't be so quick to up and move out of your blessed place. Because the way somebody looks at you, I ain't moving. Look at somebody, tell them I ain't moving. I don't know all the rules. You're right, I don't know them. I don't know what I can do. I don't even know what I can't do. And I realize that I'm not dressed like y'all are. I've never been in anybody's field before. I don't know what it's like to be a reaper. I don't know what it's like to be a gleaner. I don't look like the rest of you. I don't act like the rest of you. I don't dress like the rest of you. But I am not leaving. I don't have any rights. I don't have any papers. I don't have any legal documentation that says that I have a right to be here. But look at somebody and tell them I ain't moving. And I'm not moving because I'm so happy to be here that if all I am allowed to do is walk behind people who do have a right to be here and take their scraps, then that's just exactly what I have to do. Drop them, y'all. Drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Y'all got a right to be here. I ain't got no right to be here, but I'm gonna grab what's left over. Woo! Tell your neighbor, pick it all up, pick it all up, pick it all up, pick it all up. God said through Boaz, leave her some handfuls on purpose. Man! Look what the Lord has done. Woo! Look what the Lord has done for us. One decision. She's got barley everywhere. It's in her hair. It's in her clothes. You know why? Because it's not hard to be blessed when you're in the right place. It's not hard to be blessed when you're in the right place. One decision that she made in Moab caused God to make a decision to set her up with supernatural arrangements, to set her up with divine appointments, to put her feet on the right path, in the right place, and at the right time. One decision. And that's what the fight has been about. The enemy understands that you are one decision away from landing in Boaz's field. One decision from your field of purpose, from your field of blessing, from your field of seeing your vision come to pass, from your field of having handfuls on purpose. I'm through. But I'll tell you this. Because of one woman by the name of Esther, God preserved an entire nation. Because she was called to the kingdom for such a time as this. She made the decision to go before God on behalf of the people. It was a scary one. She could have been risking her life. But one decision. When the prodigal son had gone as low as he could go, and he was about to eat hog slop, he made a decision. And the Bible said, and he came to himself. Woo! There are decisions that will cause you to come back to yourself. Stress has you over here, stress has you over there, but there's a decision that you'll come back to yourself. He climbed up out of the pig pen and said, I'm better than this. I do not have to eat this. Noah made one decision and preserved his entire household. Abraham made a decision to get out of this country, away from his father, away from his kindred, and God made him the father of all nations. Jonah made a decision to humble himself in the belly of a whale and worship God. God made the thing that was holding him throw him up so he could run into his purpose. Bartimaeus made one decision. I'm going to holler, thou son of David, have mercy on me. The woman with the issue of blood made the decision to stay in the press. Y'all ain't hearing me today. David's men were going to stone him. He made a decision to seek God. And when he made that decision, God said, go after it. Go after it. Pursue, overtake. Without fail, recover all. Paul and Silas made a decision to sing at midnight, and when they did, the doors of the prison opened up. Naaman made a decision to humble himself. And when he humbled himself under the mighty hand of God, God brought a cure to his incurable disease. Hosea made a decision to love Gomer and go beyond anything anybody else would have ever done. And because of that, God salvaged her. Hannah, barren, made a decision to tie herself to the horns of the altar and not come loose until God gave her a child. The woman at the well, these stories are endless. The woman at the well made a decision. She became the first woman evangelist because she made a decision to draw from the well of God rather than to draw from the well of all of these men that she had been with. And God said, because of that, I'm going to raise you up. And she ran back to the city and said, come see a man. Come see a man. She's the first woman evangelist. Joseph made a decision to come out of the pits of slavery and not be bitter. And because of that, God made him the second man in charge over a foreign nation. You and I have the opportunity to have life more abundantly. Why? Because Jesus made a decision to come to earth, to walk through everything we would walk through, to hang on a cross, to be wounded for our transgressions, to be bruised for our iniquities, so that you and I could decide to live our lives